everybody. Welcome to this deep dive. We're going to do a little bit into the federal drug charges. Today, we're going to explore how these laws work, the sentencing guidelines, and what this means for those caught in the system. The federal drug charges, or a federal drug charge, stems from the Controlled Substances Act, and it covers offenses like drug trafficking, manufacturing, or possession with intent to distribute. And these charges are different from state charges because they apply when drug activities cross state lines or involve certain quantities or types of drugs. The severity of the punishment largely hinges on the type of drug involved and how much was seized, and also the individual's criminal history. For example, drugs listed under Schedule 1, like heroin, LSD, are seen as having no medical use and have a high potential for abuse, and this often leads to stiffer penalties. Now let's talk about sentencing. The federal sentencing guidelines are like a roadmap for judges, providing a framework to determine how long someone is going to serve their time in jail if convicted. These guidelines look at two main things: the base offense level, which is influenced by the quantity of drugs and the defendant's criminal history. If you've got a large amount of drugs, your base offense level goes up, which could mean a sentence anywhere from a few years up to as high as life in prison, depending on a few other factors. But here's the twist: there are also mandatory minimum sentences for drug quantities or types, which means judges have to give at least that amount of time, no matter what the guideline suggests, if there's a mandatory minimum. Judges do have some leeway and they can consider cooperation with law enforcement and other mitigating factors that might adjust the sentence up or down within the guideline range. So let's take a look at a specific example. Imagine you're in a car that is stopped and you've got 4 grams of powder cocaine with you. You have no prior criminal history. Under the federal law, possession with intent to distribute powder cocaine might apply, or it might just be regular possession. But here's how it would work under the guidelines. So 4 grams of cocaine isn't enough to trigger a mandatory minimum sentence. Those thresholds are at much higher quantities. Specifically for powder cocaine, the mandatory minimum kicks in at 500 grams, which carries a 5-year minimum sentence. And if you're caught with 5 kilograms or more, then the mandatory minimum sentence jumps to 10 years. With just 4 grams, this amount would likely place you in a lower offense level, around level 12 or 14, depending on the exact circumstances, like whether there's evidence of intent to distribute beyond just possession. For someone with no criminal history, this would put you in a criminal history category number 1, which generally suggests a sentence of 10 to 16 months. However, if you pled guilty to the offense, if you work out a plea bargain agreement and then go to the judge for sentencing, there's a 3-step downward departure due to the plea. Just the fact that you enter a plea, there's a 3-step downward departure. And the offense would be decreased significantly. Assuming you started at a level 12, a 3 level reduction would bring it down to a 9. Criminal history category number 1. This would now suggest a sentencing range between 4 and 10 months. Judges can depart from these guidelines if there are mitigating circumstances, like you're a first-time offender and no evidence of commercial intent, potentially leading to probation or even a lesser sentence. But remember, the exact outcome can vary. The prosecution's case and the presence of any other crimes or specific local jurisdictional practices can influence all these things. And there's no guarantees in criminal law in general. So I hope you've enjoyed just looking at this in a brief look at federal drug charges. And if you need help with something like this, definitely need to talk to a lawyer. Don't just watch this video. As always, these are for educational purposes only. Thanks so much. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, all these videos are for educational purposes, and we'll see you next time.